Villarreal to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria.
There's Warner. Here comes a headed jam. Counted for two. Field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved. What a game.
Smack to the left. That is gone.
Lob for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Count it. And a win. And a win. Brian Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors. And they...
Good afternoon and welcome aboard to another broadcast. We're coming to you live from Luke Faria Motors in Brownsville, Texas. Must be a Wednesday. We are here at Luke Faria in Brownsville, Texas. Kevin Arrow, Ruben Rodriguez, Joe Bowling, Rudy Zamaripa Jr. back on the camera. So we got a full crew this afternoon, week 6 of Texas high school football here, and we're going to be joined by 3 head coaches this afternoon. We have Mike Gonzales of the Donna Redskins. We have Israel Gonzalez of Harlingen South, and then we have Tino Villarreal from Brownsville St. Joe all joining us. So a jam-packed show this afternoon. It's the first time we have 3 coaches on in one show, but we're excited to have them. We're going to start things off with recapping Week 5 and with the scores and who won and who lost. So Ruben is going to run us down with a recap on the scores from Week 5.
Well, Thursday, we kick things off with PSJ North and Edinburgh Velop, and the Raiders getting a big 28-21 win. Harlingen goes back-to-back 2-0, and Romont 56-49 over Laredo United. Mercedes then knocks off Sherryland 48-25. La Villa takes on Harlingen MMA and gets the win 38-14. Santa Rosa takes on George West. The Warriors edged along. That's George West 14-12. Brownsville Veterans and PSJ High. Brownsville Vets getting a big 59-14 win over the Bears. And Edinburgh North defeats PSJ Southwest 35-13. Our last game on Thursday night, La Jolla Palmy defeats McAllen Memorial 21-12. We switch gears to Friday, a very busy day on tap. Donna gets a big 71-0 win over Brownsville Lopez. Alice and La Feria wins that one 73-13. Santa Maria defeats Progreso 62-0. San Benito defeats Edinburgh High 51-0. Roma defeats Brownsville Porter 33-21. Brownsville St. Joseph Academy knocks off Victoria's St. Joseph 47-40 in the thriller. Laredo Alexander takes on Sherryland Pioneer and gets the win 48-21. Laredo United South knocks off Westlaco 32-18. Laredo OBJ defeats La Jolla 42-14. Los Fresnos knocks off Mission 42-12. Brownsville Rivera wins it 32-7 over Edinburgh Economides. Brownsville Pace knocks off Donna North 48-13. Queten defeats Monte Alto 36-8. Mission Veterans knocks off Brownsville Lahana 27-25. Portisville knocks off at Calchelsa 26-14. PSG Memorial defeats Valley View 29-10. Ingleside defeats Raymondville 45-8. Harlingen South gets the 7-3 win over Wesco East to kick off 16-5A Division I play. Mac High defeats Rio Grande City 55-14. And last but not least, McAllen Road gets a big 35-3 win over La Jolla Juarez Lincoln. Busy weekend in Week 5.
Week 5, not so busy here in Week 6. It's the bye week, so we're going to see multiple teams, 31 and 32 6A on the bye, and a couple of 5A schools also into the bye week. So not too much football action going on this week, but going back to Week 5, what stood out to you?
Brownsville Veterans, they just keep on rolling throughout the non-district, and they're going to kick off district play this week against Donna High, of course, on Friday. But we go back to Thursday, took on PSJ. The sophomore Michael Storm Montoya breaks out. They had him everywhere like a pinball on the field. He had 2 rushing TDs, 1 TD reception, and 1 TD pass. They slotted in that quarterback at the last second. And this Charger team just continues to get stronger and stronger as the weeks go by. And they're going to be tested because they got that big powerhouse squad in Donna High, the unbeaten in 16-5A Division I. So it's going to be a true test for them in district play.
Yeah, so we're going to get that matchup, and we actually have Coach Mike Gonzales who's going to be joining us after the break, and we're going to break down what's up with the Donna Redskins. And but for me, first off, the statement game, that was Thursday night, and that was PSJ North, and I just said, I told you so. A lot of people didn't pick PSJ North to win that football game. I had the Raiders in that football game, particularly because of their offensive line and what they were able to do up front and control the line of scrimmage. And then in the second half, we saw more of the defensive line for PSJ North start to take over. And, you know, we had talked about it last week that anytime you have the best player on the field, you have an opportunity to win. And in that football game, it was Jake Duffner, and a credit to the PSJ North offensive line. He was close to non-existent in that football game. And for you to take Jake Duffner out of that Vela defense was a big key for PSJ North. But for them to win and control their emotions, that's just a big win for that program because in the last 5 years, it's always been Edinburgh Vela, whether they were in 6A, whether they were in 5A, and the adage to be the man, you got to beat the man. And for now, PSJ North, definitively is the #1 team in the Valley. And then you can look at Edinburgh Vela, and then you can look at Harlingen in 6A. But that's a big win for that program and for those junior and the junior class particularly, because this is part 1 of 3 that we're getting. Last year we saw them play. Vela got that win, and we're going to get this again next year because a lot of these kids are still sophomores and juniors. Really impressed with Mercedes running back Ethan Arisco. He ran for over 100 yards Thursday night. I know Mercedes had been struggling a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but they got a much-needed win at Sherryland on Thursday. They're going into a bye. They're looking to get healthy, and then they're going to start district play. And it's in that unique district with Flower Bluff, with Gregory Portland, and with Ed Calchelso. So I think Mercedes is heading in the right direction offensively. I know, like I said, I know their struggles, and I know defensively they probably have more question marks than they do on offense. But as far as the rushing attack, I was really impressed with Arisco. And then, of course, Tyrell Trevino. The guy can do it all. He played receiver. They needed to get the football in his hands, so they moved him to running back. He went off for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. And, in fact, 2 of his last 3 carries, one went for 70, one went for 77 yards. So the kid can play. Donna versus Brownsville Veterans, that game is set for this week, and it's an early indication on the scale on who's going to be the front runner in that district. Right now, if you ask me, I would say it's Brownsville Veterans. But so the Donna, and again, we're going to talk with Mike here in a little bit. We're going to get his take on it, on where the Redskins are at going into that matchup with Brownsville Veterans. By far, it's going to be their toughest test of the season so far. Another thing we learned was also the 16-5A D2 race is going to be a lot closer than we think. 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I would have told you Mission Veterans would have been the front runner, followed by Sherryland, Pioneer, and probably a Roma in that 4 seed. But again, of course, we know that Luis de Hoyos is done for the year, and that's a big hole to fill if you're Mission Vets. They did get a win at home this past week against Hanna, and that was a much needed win for the Patriots after losing to both Harlingen and San Benito in back-to-back weeks. Just very uncharacteristic of that program and for Coach Gilpin to lose like that. But seeing Sherryland, and I understand they lost against Mercedes, but I still feel offensively they have the pieces. They have what it takes to compete in that district with Krell, Bo Krell. He's starting to figure it out. The Gonzales, the Cuates there, both Alec and Alan. They have what it takes to compete in that district. And it's going to be a lot closer than we think because Pioneer's starting to come on. A lot of people didn't think Pioneer would come on as quickly as they have. Offensively, they're starting to figure it out. They're starting to put up points. So it's going to be a lot closer than we think in that district. And then later in the show, we're going to have Tino Villarreal and then just Claudio Torres. I was just really impressed with him last week at practice. I had said it on air. He reminds me a lot of a Joey Galloway type receiver. And in practice last week, he was lining up against guys one-on-one, and he was burning every single guy he lined up against. The kid's just a sophomore. He's a sophomore sprinkled in with lots of weapons that St. Joe has, but I thought Claudio Torres really stood out to me. And then when Tino comes back, when Tino joins us later, we'll talk more about St. Joe and Claudio Torres. But those are some things that stood out to me this past week. Anything else for you?
And going back to the Sherryland Pioneer squad, their offense, again, they suffered the loss to Laredo Alexander on Friday night, but that offense did look on key from what they were able to get. Just Laredo Alexander, they just were able to get the ball rolling defensively. They forced multiple shutouts, but on offense, despite putting up 21, Sherryland Pioneers still looked good. They had Joseph Graham Jr. making some big plays. Julian Valdez also made some good plays at quarterback position. It was just a very good spotty start, but then the defense just took over for Laredo Alexander, and their offense just went up them a bit. But Sherryland Pioneers' offense looks really, really good. And they have a bye week this week, so it looks like they're going to take some advantage of that and they'll roll into 16-5A Division II play. Again, you said, Kevin, it's going to be a very, very tight race in that district.
Yeah, and they're going to open it up with Mission Vets. So right off the bat, we're going to know. On the other side of the break, we're going to be joined by Donna head coach Mike Gonzales when we come back from Luke Faria Motors.
We envision that San Perlita ISD will help our students acquire the necessary knowledge, communication, and problem-solving skills through a variety of educational and social experiences to become productive citizens in our global society. Be a part of the change to help create a community where we guide each other to our unlimited potential.
When excellence in academics meets discovery on the court, in the arts, with institutions of higher education and beyond, we are the future leaders, and our success starts now. La Villa ISD, Cardinal Pride.
Hi, I'm Rolo Rodriguez and I'm a partner with New York Life Insurance Company. For 170 years, New York Life has built a reputation for building some of the finest agents in the industry. I help to manage that process from day one. If you're looking to challenge yourself and build an insurance and financial service business, then I would like to show you how I can help.
I'm a 5th grader at Champion Elementary, and next year, I'm gonna be at 6th grade at Perkins Middle School.
My favorite thing about my school is that they make it fun for us to learn. As an 8th grader, I'll be able to take high school classes in middle school.
Well, I take a lot of the dual enrollment classes that TSC offers to us.
They have given me an early start on what I want to become in the future, which is a mathematics teacher.
That's why Brownsville ISD is the best choice.
Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for a fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito.
De ropa lo que se me antoja, dinero en el banco. Muchos me andan criticando pues traigo carrazos que como le hago. Tengo aseguro del bueno, pronto y flexible y sale barato. Es mi corrido humilde, que no se te olvide que me ando ahorrando.
Ask your agent how you can start saving with Pronto. Best price in town.
Welcome back. We're joined by Donna head coach Mike Gonzalez. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Coach, first off, we want to give you a congratulations for being named Coach of the Week by the Hispanic Coaches Association. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a big honor. It's a huge honor, especially, coming from that association. It's a newer association, but they do a great job, at coaching school. They had a fantastic showing, and it's an honor.
Both you, Johnny Garza from San Benito, and Brett Esparza from PSJ North. So we had 3 coaches from the Valley make that list. So, Coach, we're going to jump into this is your 3rd year at Donna, your alma mater.
Yes.
Let's wind the clock back, and you arrive at Donna, your alma mater. And what's been the turnaround for you guys here in year 3 where you guys are now 5-0?
Well, I think the biggest thing is when I got hired in 2020, right in the middle of COVID. So it was kind of a unique situation because you get hired, you start this new job, but there's nobody in school, you know what I mean? So I got a new staff coming in, coordinators. I was fortunate enough to be given the ability to hire some my own coordinators, a couple coaches, and we don't know any of the kids, you know what I mean? So that presented its own challenges, having coaches meetings on Zoom, and I think before that, I don't even think I ever had been on Zoom before. So trying to set the tone when you get there is kind of hard, especially online. And then you slowly transition to being able to come on campus, and so it was a unique situation. And then when the school year starts, COVID's still like a big deal. It's still a big issue. People are getting sick. People were passing away, unfortunately. And then our school district was very conservative, as you know, and rightfully so. So they were allowed, you can bring 60 kids, select 60 kids from the program that you're going to bring in, and at that you had parents that were fearful of sending their kids to school. So, and understandably. So we went from that, in that year we finished with 23 kids because kids were getting sick, and it was one of those where they had to go 15 days, and if you got sick, and we had to test every Monday, which Donna ISD did a fantastic job, but it was just another kind of step that we had to do, and some parents weren't wanting to test kids, and so it's just one of those deals that we had to go through. And then 2021 comes around. It's a little bit better as far as COVID's not so bad. We got more kids in the program. But we're in a tough district. We're in a 10-team district, and it is tough. You had the McAllen schools, you had West Squeeze, Palmview, all those guys, and they were the Brownsvilles. So you had no non-district games to kind of get your feet wet, and we did our best. We were in some tough games that we felt like we could have won. But then after 2021 season, it was all full go back to school. Everybody's there, freshmen, JV kids, everybody's there. So we went through a real, true off season. And I'm a big believer in the weight room. So that's what we did. We went and hit the weights. And the biggest thing I think that we did that we had never done was we implemented all of our football kids ran track. From freshman JV to varsity, they all ran track, and we told the kids, we don't care if you get last place. We want you to go compete. We were fortunate enough to win the freshman district track meet. We came, I believe, in third with JV, and then we won the varsity district track meet. And I think that kind of winning that gold trophy that night, I think the kids kind of had a switch flip on them. They're like, we can win these gold trophies, because we always talked about winning a gold football, gold trophy. And I think it kind of, something just like lit up in them, and they had confidence and I think that was one of the biggest turnarounds that we had was using our track program as pretty much a second off season for us. And the kids, they enjoyed running and having success. And then come to find out, we got some speedy guys, what I mean? And guys like Luis Silva, who run a 4.5, true 4.5, 40, you know what I mean? Xavier Rodriguez, who's a sophomore, and he's a speedy guy, you know what I mean? So we figured out we can do some things with these guys. We just got to figure out a way to get the ball to them. And that's what we did, and we carried that into the offseason, into the summer, and here we are now. So it's been a process, you know what I mean? And I think, most people say, it takes you 2 years to kind of to get your feet in a new program. But then you throw COVID and that kind of hampers things or puts a delay, if you will. But our kids, our administration, our central office, we have, and I always say this, we have one of the best principals in South Texas. She gives us everything we need, everything that we ask for, as much as she can do for us. She provides for us. Our superintendent does a great job. Our school board backs us. So I think once everybody bought into what we were trying to do, it kind of started fitting. And I believe that's why we're having the success we're having right now.
And you guys are 5-0. You guys beat La Feria. You guys beat Valley View, PSJ Memorial, Ed Cal Chelsea, and then you guys opened up district with an exclamation point, 71-0. But seeing these scores, 42-21, 26-8, you're showing that in 71-0, you're showing that you guys are winning in different ways.
Yeah. So we figured out real quick that we have those speedy guys, and we have a sophomore quarterback, Jeff Lefevre, who's got a cannon. We have another quarterback who's a senior, Jake Garcia, who can run. So we said, what's going to be our identity, and going into La Feria, we kind of fell into that game. But when I met with the coaching staff, I was like, man, La Feria is a 4A school who has had a lot of success. We got to go over there and show a good showing. And we got off to a really great start. We started hitting the receivers, and they started breaking loose. And, Luis Silva had a fantastic, I think he had like 3 carries for 100 and I don't remember, it was like 138 yards or something like that. It was something ridiculous like that. But we figured out that our team speed, the ability of our quarterback to get the ball out in space, we figured out we can score some points. Not only that, we have a tough defense. And I had an interview earlier this week, and I told him, I said, I feel like our defense doesn't get enough credit because we got some dudes on that defense, and their ability to stop other offenses gives us the ball and gives us a chance to score.
And then, you guys open up district with that win against Lopez. But one thing we talked about off air, as I know I have this conversation with coaches too, is that what have you guys learned about yourselves going into district play, I know you already have one under your belt, but
Yeah.
some things that you may have learned about your team.
Well, going into Lopez, we figured, they got a new staff over there. We got to go and set the tone right away. And, we met with the kids and we told the kids this is our first district game, and we never look at like, well, this is who we're playing. Yeah, of course, we do the breakdowns and stuff, but no matter who's put in front of us, we're gonna practice our way of practice. We're gonna try to go out there and execute our way and do things that we do. So the challenge that I gave them was we got to set the tone from the get-go, and our kids came out, and I think that we figured out about ourselves is that we have the ability to score at any moment from anywhere, and we're going to hang our hat on our defense because they're going to get us the ball back. And one of the biggest things that's kind of come on for us this year is our special teams. We have Caleb Harrison, who was a track guy last year. He's a receiver slash returner, and he gets the ball in space. Couple of blocks, he's gonna house call. You know what I mean? Brian Wattis is another guy who, when we played Ed Couch Elsa, we were up 12-0 at half. They kicked off the ball to us to open up the half, and he took a 95-yard kickoff return to the house, and that kind of sparked the rest of the game. You know what I mean? So we learned that we have some guys that can make plays for us, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams.
And then, Coach, looking what's ahead for you guys, you and Brownsville Veterans, and we can do it. We can look in the crystal ball and look ahead. I know you coaches are a week-to-week kind of guys, nothing wrong with that, but we can have fun and say, hey, that Donna BVM matchup's coming up. If they can keep doing what they're doing, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're here, and it's set up just the way we thought it would.
Well, yeah, and Veterans does a great job, man. Coach Kelly Lee and his staff have done a fantastic job over there. And the biggest thing that we told our kids is this is a big game, and there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of media. Don't let that kind of seek into our locker room. We got to focus on our job. And our job Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is to prepare. The media is going to be there. But the biggest thing is you guys have earned the right to be in a game that the media is kind of, I think we're two games, game of the week for two different stations, but we've earned that. It's a lot of pressure, but we have the privilege of having pressure.
Right.
At some point in our program, people didn't care about us, you know what I mean? And, it's just a little old Donna, you know what I mean? Well, it's not little old Donna anymore, and I think we've earned that right, and that's what I tell our kids. So I tell our kids, just let's prepare all week, hard works throughout the week. Friday night, you get to have fun.
In Brownsville Veterans, we've seen them a couple of times with that triple option. They love to run the football. They're very physical, Coach. I think this is the most physical they've been in some time.
Yeah.
So with what you can share, what are some challenges that they may present?
The biggest challenge, I think, is what they run offensively. We haven't played a team that does the triple option, so that's going to present some challenges early in the game. And we talk to our defense, and we tell them, we're a tough defense. I believe we're one of the best defenses in South Texas. But when you play a team like this, they're going to have some success, and they're a good team, and they have some really good athletes. So I told our team, I said, don't hang your head. They're going to move the ball. They're going to get some first downs. They're going to get some touchdowns. We have to stay focused on what we do, and we'll make adjustments as we go throughout the game. But we just got to execute. So I think our biggest challenge is going to come trying to stop their triple offense or their triple option, and they got some good athletes and they run it really well.
And you guys offensively, wing T, or what are you guys?
No, we're a
spread,
but we got we either go doubles or we got two backs in the backfield, but we'd like to spread the ball out. You know what I mean? We got guys like Mark Zamorano, he's a receiver. Xavier Rodriguez, he's a slot receiver. Ashton Garcia, Caleb Harrison. You got Jeff Lefevre, who's our starting quarterback right now. Jake Garcia, who fills in for him. Just depending on where we're at and what we're trying to do at that point in time of the game. And Jake can run the ball. He can throw the ball as well too. And I don't think people have seen him throw the ball yet. And so we have some firepower. But I think the biggest thing, and people always forget, and I think this is all levels of football, is the offensive line.
Mhm.
They provide some big blocks, and they have a tremendous task in front of them because Vets D line is pretty good, and they got some linebackers that'll come, and we just got to be able to pick them. At the end of the day, it's football, so we got to be able to execute.
Is he taller than his brother yet, Richard?
Actually, I believe he is. He is taller. He's a lot less. He's not as big as his brother, but Richard was an animal for us, but Jeff's only a sophomore right now,
Oof.
and I think I sometimes forget that because he just seems so mature, and he's a big boy. But I forget that he's a sophomore, and when I think about him and his maturity level, I feel like sometimes he's a senior kid, whatever. But then I go back and I'm like, he's just a sophomore. So, that's awesome, and he's doing a tremendous job for us leading our offense right now.
Coach, last question for you is hold the rope. You have it on your shirt. You see it everywhere on the program.
Yeah.
Tell the people, what does that mean and how it got started?
So hold the rope is our never give up mantra, pretty much. We first got this when I was a senior in high school at Donna High School. My senior year, we were fortunate enough to go 10-0. We had a good little playoff run, and our defense coordinator introduced the hold the rope mentality to us. And I always kind of referred back to that through college and when I became a coach. And when I was fortunate enough to land the head coaching job in Donna, I knew that this was something special that I wanted to bring and to make it a focal point for us. And really, it's just never give up, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the scenario is. We got to keep fighting. And like I tell our kids, we're from Donna. Being tough is in our DNA. So whenever there's a situation where we're we got our backs against the wall, let's hold the rope for each other. More recently, I've been telling our community of Donna that we want them to hold the rope along with us, because at the end of the day, what we do is for our community, for our school, and we want to represent the best we can. I told the kids, every week, I said, we never ask you guys to win games. I never sit there and say, guys, we need to win this game. I said, I just want you to play Donna Redskin football. And if we can do that, we'll have some success. The scoreboard will be the scoreboard. Whether it's a W or an L, it's going to be what it is. But we got to represent for our community.
A lot of tradition, definitely, at Benny LaPrade. Coach, before we let you go, any shout-outs, thank yous you want to give to anybody?
I really just want to give a big thank you to our community, to our board, our administrators from central office, and our administration at Donna High School, all the teachers and staff at Donna High School. They do a tremendous job getting us prepared, whether it's a custodian, a lunch lady, a security guard, keeping us safe. Everybody at Donna High School, Donna ISD, does a tremendous job, and we want to thank you for all the support and the love and everything you've done for our program to help us get where we're at. I think we're 5-0 because of the support that we have from the community of Donna and Donna ISD.
We'll have your game streamed Friday at 7 o'clock kickoff?
It's 7:30.
7:30. 7:30 at Brownsville Veterans High School. We'll have that game streamed. Big one between the Redskins and the Chargers. Coach Mike Gonzales, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you
for
having me.
Good luck this Friday.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. When we come back, Israel Gonzalez of Harlingen South will be joining us.
Come visit our new store in downtown Harlingen. We have furniture, appliances, clothes, collectibles, and more. All funds collected support the Sunny Glen Children's Home. Come see us at Vintage on Jackson at First and Jackson in Harlingen.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
Baby, just listen to me.
Escucha.
Do everything with
Prontísimo.
Out of home business or
Flexible.
Insurance for all your
Barato.
needs. You say you just got a new boat. Come on by and we'll give you a free quote.
Prontísimo.
Okay, who's singing? Muriel. Hello?
Accesible.
I'm out.
Pregúntale a tu agente cómo ahorrar con Pronto, porque más barato, nadie.
We're the St. Joe Bloodhound Cheerleaders, and you're watching Real Sports Live!
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
Ibanez Tortilleria, serving up freshly made in-house corn and flour tortillas since 1994. Try our delicious menudo, tasty barbacoa, fresh tamales, tacos, variadas with juicy grilled chicken, and tender fajitas. On Mondays, buy one barbacoa taco and get one free if you mention that you're a Bloodhound fan. Located at 4726 Paredes Line Road, Brownsville, Texas. Open every day at 6:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. To order, contact 956-541-9594.
Our service is unmatched. Our commitment to our team and our community, relentless. Our products are innovative and exciting. Fruya, we're what's next now.
I love what I do. I
love
really do.
what I'm doing. I love children.
One of the most important things to do is to love your students.
Imagine teachers like these helping your child prepare to change the world. Take a closer look at Mission CISD.
We are the Edinburgh North Lady Cougars, and you're watching Real Sports Live!
Welcome back here to Talkin Football on Luke Fair Motors, joined by Harlingen South head coach Izzy Gonzalez. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here, brother.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know football season, you're up and down everywhere across school, but hey, thank you for joining us. You're taking time out of your busy schedule.
Absolutely, man. Anything for Real Sports Live, man. Y'all do a tremendous job for us, so it's always fun to come out and get to hang out with you guys for a while.
Now, Coach, of course, we know time goes by, and here we are already in week 6. It's been a very lengthy, quick, fast season. Let's run down how things started off. First, you went off 0-2, started off the season, a little bit of a slow start, but you guys woke up. You got the gears rolling. You got a big win against Hannah, 34-7. 36-7 against Rivera, and then you get a big district win in defensive showdown against Wesco East. How's just this early part of the season gone down for y'all so far?
Well, I think going into the year, we wanted to make sure that we had scheduled some tough opponents early in non-district, and we were able to do that. We had Harlingen early on, which is Coach Gomez and them doing a tremendous job like they always do, and we lost to them early on, and then we had Wesco and lost that game in a 20-24 game, which is a tight football game, and then finished off with 2 Brownsville schools, and we played all 6A schools, dropping down to 5A. I thought that it was important for us to make sure that we had that level of competition early to get us right for district, and then we got a tough win out of the way in the district opener last week against Wesco East in a real physical defensive game. So I think it served its purpose for us to get those games in early.
And going back to the non-district course, you guys made the jump from 32-6A down to 16-5A Division I. The non-district, I like to call it the 2 or 32-6A because you had Harlingen, of course, and you had Wesco, and then you had Rivera and Hannah. Again, all district rivals. What was just also part of the reasoning in that, just to get?
A little bit was, like I said, trying to make sure that we were prepared for our district schedule. Also, a little bit was, try to limit travel. It's nice to be able to stay as local as possible, and having the relationships with those coaches that we were in 32-6A, it just worked out that way, so it worked out for us.
Well, the fun thing, and now we look at this 2022 squad, a very young squad so far. Of course, you graduated the majority of your 2021 lineup. What are just some of your thoughts on this young squad in 2022?
I think so far so good. We've done a tremendous job. There's some young guys on that football team, and some sprinkled in. Definitely got some senior leadership in our linebacking core on the defensive side. Also, August Wilson, our quarterback, a senior. Ethan Garza, a two-way guy for us. It's a senior that really solidify our leadership roles. But, we are very young offensively, and, our defensive line is also young. But a lot of those guys are returners. So our defense has done a tremendous job keeping us in football games, and we've been able to lean on them. And, I think that, these guys are gaining pivotal experience as we go on week to week.
And I like to say this too when we cover basketball and I cover baseball, because of course a lot of these seasons have very long non-districts football. And again, you may have 3 or 4 non-district games, but still a long stretch. And I like to say it because it gives y'all a mental note. Hey, this is where we're at now. This is what we got to get to work on. So what do you feel like was just some key things y'all worked on during this non-district portion?
A lot of it for us was offensively, right, to make sure that we got some guys some experience, some game time experience, and I think we've been trending in the right direction. Last week it was a little bit of a struggle offensively, but I think a lot of that goes to giving, Wesco East credit for what they did in their game plan. And so I feel that, the biggest thing that we saw is we've seen the team grow week to week. And, last week we saw their determination to make sure that they stayed in the football game, and being down all game 3-0. Early on in the game, Wesco East had that drive and ended up in a field goal, and we were struggling to get stuff going offensively, but defensively stayed determined, and offense ended up taking advantage of what they needed to take advantage. And I think about 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, we were able to get that go-ahead score and hold on. So I think we've been, growing week to week, and I think that's important for us as a program, and also is important for us as young players to be able to get that game time experience.
Okay, again, a very young squad indeed. Who are just some standouts? Who are some guys who just emerged as some of the key leaders in this 2022 squad?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got several guys. You got our defensively, our defensive end, and Gilbert Lerma is a junior that's started for us last year as a sophomore, and he's done a tremendous job, as an underclassman. Reno Villanueva, another defensive lineman for us that's just done a tremendous job on the defensive line. Mikey Gonzalez playing safety for us has had a tremendous impact in the secondary. So those are some of the guys on the defensive side of the ball. David Sanchez, one of our running backs on the offensive side, has had a tremendous impact on the offensive side. And, every single one of those linemen are non-returners from last year. So, you can go down the list with those guys. August Wilson getting his first starts at quarterback on his senior year, even though he is a senior. He hadn't started a Friday night football game at that position. So, he's done a tremendous job going that way. And then, young Dylan Anaya, number 8, has done a tremendous job for us. He's only a sophomore, and he's a playmaker, and he's seeing time all over the football field at different positions. And, the future looks really, really bright for him. And then you got our seniors on that offensive side too. Carlos Mossboss, our running back and / defensive lineman. It just gives us a tremendous amount of energy and speed on the football field. So, I could go on and on about our kids. Our kids are great, and I think that, we're coming together. And the thing that I like most about our football team is that they rely on each other. They trust each other. They root for each other, and I think that's the making of a great football team.
Yeah, again, I want to go back to week 3 when you all took on Brownsville. I know when I was able to cover you guys, right, and up and down, so I'm not able to cover you guys all the time. But I try to keep track with you guys. But, again, I was looking at that game. Again, get August Wilson start that matchup. Then you put in the young Dylan and Anaya. He played good. He looked like he was playing there for the years, or playing as a starter for years. But, again, Dylan Anaya shaped up as one of those key leaders on his squad for Harlingen South. And, again, you can rely on him, too, because, again, of course, August Wilson is senior. But both those two guys, I think your future looks bright on the quarterback slot, Coach.
Yeah, like I said, for us, Wilson is a guy that understands our game plan and goes out there and is strong in what we're doing week to week. And Dylan is just an impact player no matter where you put him on the football field. We've put him in the backfield, we've put him at the slot receiver, and obviously we've put him at the quarterback spot. And he's eventually going to be the guy, in the years to come. But, right now he's a great team player, and he understands that where the football team needs him is where he goes. And I think that's one of the things that we do best at Harlingen South is our kids, if you ask them what position you play, they say, Coach, I play football, and wherever the team needs me to play is where I'll play. And I'm extremely proud of that about our athletes, that they put team over themselves, and that's something that we preach all the time. We talk about being selfless and not being selfish, and I think it shows in a bunch of our athletes, from even guys last year that moved positions like Levi Ants to this year, or Carlo Mossboss playing on both sides of the ball, Ethan Garza playing on both sides of the ball, multiple positions, Mikey Gonzalez that played receiver for us last year that's now our starting safety. Our guys understand that at the end of the day, Hawk football is about doing what's right for your team. And I think that we have done an amazing job in getting those kids to understand that, and they live it, man. They go out there and they play passionately, and they play whatever position that needs to be played for the team to be successful. And ultimately, as a football coach, that's one of the things that I'm most proud of.
And that can be said about, too, whatever the team puts out, the product they display falls back on the coaching and coaching. And one of my favorite coaches to look out in the RGV coach. But, again, going back to the fall of this game, last year you guys were in 32-6A. It was a small 18 district. It was a comfy district. Then you go now to 16-5A Division I, which is a very 10-team district. During that offseason, what was just the preparations, like going back all the way through the summer up to the fall? Do you guys feel like where you are, do you feel like you're where do you feel like you are where you thought you'd be now, or a little more?
Well, you know, our district just started, so we know it's a competitive district. You know, when you look at what's going on in our district, you know Wesco East was going to be competitive. Just a tremendous amount of tradition there with Coach Burgett and what they do. And then, you know, look at Coach Mike Gonzales and Donna and what he's been able to do in such a short time, and got his guys at 5-0 going into district play this week. And then Coach Lee at Brownsville Veterans that does just a tremendous job. And you know, not to mention all the other guys too, Coach Pardo at Pace. And you know, it's just going to be a tremendous amount of competition in that league. And you know, what we worry about is ourselves, right? We talk to our kids about winning day to day. You know, if you win on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, then, you know, the Fridays hopefully take care of themselves. And, you know, our biggest opponent on a weekly basis is the Harlingen South Hawks. If we can go out there and limit mistakes, you know, limit penalties, limit turnovers, then you give yourself a chance to be competitive, to go out there and compete against such this great competition that's in our district.
Now, 1-0 in district play. You're 3-2. You run district play. You took on against Brownsville Pace up next. Again, Donnie Pardo, good squad. That was a team who's also, they've had a slow bit of start, but they've managed to wake up a bit too. What are some of your thoughts heading into tomorrow night's matchup?
You know, absolutely. They got an offense that is put up some points the last couple of weeks. You know, and we obviously are paying attention to what everybody else is doing. You know, and they've had some tough games, but at the same time, they've been competitive in those games. So, you know, Coach Pardo does a tremendous job over there, and you know that they're going to be ready to play. You know, we're happy to actually be at a home game. We've been away for the last 3 weeks, so we're excited to be back at Bogus Stadium. But you know that the Vikings are going to come in, and they got a great coaching staff and some great playmakers, and you know, we know that they're going to show up and they're going to be ready to play football. So, like I said, you know, we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and expect those opponents to show up and be ready to play, and expect ourselves to be able to do the same.
Now we look at getting 16-5 Division I. Slowly but surely, we're barely 1 week into district play, but now you feel slowly that the district picture starts to paint itself on who's going to be where it's going to be. You look down to the rest of your schedule, two of the big names that stand out, Donna and Brownsville Veterans. Those two guys will be duking it out on Friday night, but how do you feel like you guys have been going so far in this very district game? Because in this district, 10 teams, but still only the 4 toughest ones get in.
Right. So, you know, we do got those games later on in the schedule, but you know, as a football coach, you try not to look ahead too far. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. There's obviously a big game in our district on Friday with Brownsville Vets and Donna playing. And, you know, but we got our own big game. You know, we got Pace coming into town, and that's what we worry about. You know, we're going to let the chips fall where they fall, and, you know, God willing that we can get to a point where those games are going to be significant, then, you know, we make sure that we are prepared to play a big game. And I think that's what we try to preach to our kids is, you know, we take care of business one day at a time, you know, and then 1 week at a time. And then, you know, you can't really control any of that stuff. So you got to control what you can control. And what we can control is showing up every day, being on time, and working hard to practice. And hopefully that translates to Friday nights. And then you take one Friday night at a time. And, you know, God willing, those games will be, you know, important at the end. But, you know, you can't do that without taking care of business every day.
Now, Coach, here we are again, week 6. From between week 1 and week 6, what do you feel has been the major lesson learned for y'all so far throughout the season?
No, for us, I think it's just growth. You know, graduating 32 guys is a big deal. Obviously, last year we had a tremendous football team, and just so proud of those kids and what they did, and our coaching staff and what they were able to come in and establish. You know, and not just in football, just across our campus, you know, and the school spirit that's at our campus is just tremendous. You know, our student section is tremendous. So shout out to all the student section, all the athletes and other coaches at Harlingen South, you know, because they do a tremendous job in what they do. So, you know, I think for us it's, you know, growing, you know, day to day. You know, life is about lessons and about learning, and if you're not growing and you're going to stay stagnant, you know, you're going to be like water that stays stagnant. It starts to stink after a while. So, you know, you got to continue to move forward. You got to continue to learn, and I think that I'm proud of our athletic program in general, because I think we're growing and we're trending in the right direction.
Coach, any final thoughts, any final shout-outs before we wrap things up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my buddy Manny Gomez's birthday today, so shout out to Big Dog Manny Gomez, man. You know, a mentor for me, and I wish him nothing but a happy birthday, and to the Cardinal program and those guys on our sister school across town. To my brother Albert and the Fire Department that's probably watching right now. I got to work as a firefighter for 4 years, so my brother's assistant chief's over there. To shout out to him, and then of course to my family, my wife and my kids. Love you guys, and thank you for everything you do. And also the Real Sports Live, man, the best program out there to show and get our athletes out on TV and streamed out. And you know, you guys have done just such a tremendous job, and we're grateful for you guys, and we hope that this is something that continues to happen for years and years, and you guys continue to grow and be successful.
Harlingen South head coach is Mike Gonzales. Coach, again, they'll be taking on Brownsville Pace this Friday. Coach, good luck this week. Thank you for having on up.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you, man.
Next, we'll have St. Joseph head coach Tino Villarreal after this.
Thank you for the salon, the tamales, the dress, el DJ.
Ay, Ama, you called them. I didn't even want a quinceañera in the first place. I would have preferred to have gone to Paris instead.
I will, fine. I'm gonna give you your surprise gift early.
Huh?
Guess what? You're going to Paris.
How?
Well, I've been saving mucho dinero all year in insurance thanks to Pronto Insurance.
Let's just skip the quinceañera and go straight to Paris.
Call your padrinos right now.
Okay.
Ask your agent how you can start saving with Pronto. Best price in town.
We're the Valley View Lady Tigers, and you're watching Real Sports Live. We're the Mission Vets Lady Patriots, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Josh Moody and Coach Rolly Gonzalez of Josh Moody Loans are former Harlingen Cardinals and would like to wish all the teams good luck in tonight's games.
We're the Mission Vets Lady Patriots, and you're watching Real Sports Live. We're the Mission Lady Eagles, and you're watching Real Sports Live. Yeah! We're the Harlingen South Lady Hawks, and you're watching Real Sports Live. Hawks up!
For quality care, contact Mesquite Home Health and Attendant Services today. In Brownsville at 594 Jose Marti Boulevard. Call today, 956-361-5558.
We here at Mesquite want to wish all local athletes good luck in today's game.
Graduation time. Time to make some decisions. What's next? Can I afford to continue my education? What are my options? At Brownsville ISD Career and Technical Education, you can graduate from high school with a certificate and/or license ready to go to work, debt-free. We have a wide range of programs for every student, ranging from audiovisual, law enforcement, STEM robotics, electrical, welding, pharmacy, patient care tech, and many more to choose from. That's why Brownsville ISD is the best choice.
We're the Edinburgh Lady Bobcats, and you're watching Real Sports Live. Woo! We're the Pace Lady Vikings, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
The most important moments in a child's life happen in their earliest years. Having a strong early childhood education enhances their future and success. That's why we are opening the Harlingen CISD Early Childhood Academy for pre-K students. At HCISD, we provide these opportunities for our youngest learners to foster their imagination and let their curiosity run while they develop their love for learning. These are the early steps to success, and Harlingen CISD is with them every step of the way.
A world of opportunity awaits students on their unique path to college acceptance and career readiness. The path to college starts on day one in Los Fresnos, a path that starts with a solid foundation rooted in the classroom by exceptional educators. The path to college starts in Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos CISD. What we do here shapes the world.
Welcome back. Our final guest this afternoon, head coach Tino Villarreal of the St. Joe Bloodhounds. Shout out to Mike Gonzales from Donna and Izzy Gonzalez from Harlingen South. So, Tino, this past week you guys had a road trip in Edna, in God's country, when as soon as we got off of 59, I was like, here we are. Good facility, an even better game against Victorious St. Joe. And I think there were different phases to that football game Friday night, to where the first half, the first quarter, there were 40 combined points. Did you guys we'll start with that. Did you guys see that as a possibility going into the game, knowing that what you had offensively and what they had offensively?
I knew from the beginning that we were in for a dogfight. I mean, I told the kids all week long, we practiced hard all week during the bye week, and it's a good thing when you see your team kind of relaxed and eager to hit the field. It's another thing to look a little bit overconfident, and I thought we were a little overconfident. I reminded our team about that all week long. I told them, we're not as good as you think we are. And if you play that way, you're going to find yourself in a shootout, because they have the weaponry to do what they did, which have number 3 just run the ball and us have no answer for it. And exactly what I thought was going to happen happened, and we went into halftime in the position that I feared that we would be in.
And you guys showed off your depth, I thought, offensively for the for the first time in a while. Like we talked preseason, that I feel you have a lot of weapons. And I think that depth showed up Friday night, where we saw Kiko make plays. We saw JP probably play one of his better games, at least in my opinion. And then we saw Ethan step up in that second half. And then we saw Claudio step up in the second half. All the while, DP, Adrian Del Pozo, almost non-existent, strategically or not. But the point being that we saw you guys use your depth. And talk about that and the growth, and we're seeing different guys starting to step up.
Well, ultimately, that's the goal of our offense. Last year and the last couple of years, we rode the coattails of Luigi. That was our leader. That's who we depended on. Obviously, he was the quarterback, and so having him in that role, he was able to distribute the football as best as he could to open receivers. Take Luigi out of the equation, Ethan comes in, tries to learn a system, and part of that system that's important is distributing the football equally and evenly. And that may not be the most popular thing in the world, and maybe Adrian Del Pozo, a guy with that kind of electricity wants the ball all the time, and we want to give him the ball too. But he's going to be the guy who has a magnifying glass on him, and Ethan's starting to learn the role of the offense, and that's to distribute the ball to whoever's open, and to make all the players in our offense just as good. And I think that we do have so much depth, and we have a lot of weapons that we have to keep doing that throughout the year if we want to go deep into the playoffs.
At halftime, well, pregame, the message from Coach Starkey was he challenged the defense. They came up in that second half, and they made 2 stops, and ultimately that fumble that won the football game. Talk about your defense and them just answering the call and taking on the challenge from Coach Starkey, specifically in that second half.
Well, we're going to only be as good as the defense, and we knew from the beginning of the year that the defense was going to be better than last year's, and I thought that for the last couple of games, at least the last let's say the 6 quarters leading into that halftime, that was not representative of this year's defense. We looked exactly like last year's defense. And for them to kind of come back and make a couple of stops and put a lot more hats to a football and pursue and be a little bit relentless and aggressive in their tackling, that was representative of this year's style of defense. And so hopefully that was a spark that gets our defense back to playing 2022 Bloodhound defense and not revert back to the same old traditional defense that St. Joe's usually had, which is soft football, and we can't be soft if we want to change, our record.
And for Ethan, the way he stepped up in that second half, and there's no secret. I even said it on air that it was and I said, quote, no, it was a turbulent way to end the first half, because you guys were in a situation where you could possibly get 3, you could get a touchdown, and just that last play where Ethan decided to tuck it and run, and I could tell, and I said, Tino's hot. He's not very happy right now. And you challenged your quarterback, the senior, and you said, the captain of this team, the senior quarterback on this team, to step up in the second half, and boy, he did. I thought that two out of the first 3 drives, I think y'all scored touchdowns, and it was all Ethan running the football, design runs, and just the way he stepped up. So just talk about how he answered that call from you and your staff.
Well, a lot of people, maybe if they're watching, they don't know much about Ethan Gallegos. Let me tell you something about him. Maybe you don't know that much about him. He's a extremely coachable athlete. He's the first one there in the mornings. He works out hard. He doesn't complain. He doesn't show pain. He plays all heart. He's a coach's dream. I've been fortunate to go from Kai Money, Eligio Cristiano, and now I can say an Ethan Gallegos, right? He's just a great kid. He wants to learn. He's a sponge. And at times, you're also put in a situation in our offense which is not that easy to manage.
Mhm.
And so he gets put in situations where the last thing he wants to do is make a mistake. And when that happens, sometimes it robs you of your ability to do your best. He felt that moment, I think, right before halftime, where he was just not trying to make a mistake, and therefore he made a mistake. And my job's to coach that. So if I let that slide, then I'm not doing my job. But we did challenge him, and he stepped up, and we had to put the ball in his hands and put the ball in whatever they were giving us, and they were trying to take away a lot of things from us. One thing they were trying to take JP's runs away from us, so we had to depend on his feet, and Ethan delivered.
Let's talk about the 2-point play. That was quite popular, not only between your staff and myself, and when people saw that, I was like, whoa. By design, scripted, just walk us through it.
Okay. Well, we've been running that play for years, so I have to apologize to Blake Folks, who's probably watching this right now, because we've had that in our playbook for Blake for years, and every time he would look at me he'd open his eyes, and you'd look into his blue eyes, and he'd go, "It's time. Like, they're ready. Let's run it." And I never called that play for Blake, and so. Sure enough, now you look at Diego, who's in there, and we practice that play every week. We practice a couple of trick plays, and we've got a deep trick play playbook, and we've got 2-point plays that we practice. I mean, we do a lot of things there with our offense, but sometimes we don't use any of them. And when you're real good, you don't have to use any of them. And right now, we're working to be good. So we've veterans expose us. I think we ran 6 plays that we hadn't run in the past, and this was one of them. So it's in our playbook. He was able to get the football and show off his dance moves afterwards. I don't know. He did a good job with it.
Pretty impressive, I thought so. So you guys now have a 2-game homestand, starting with San Antonio Christian Friday night. So what are some things, that you guys are looking forward to with San Antonio Christian?
They're about 80% pass. So I was telling Rudy right now, it's going to be a long game. We like to pass. They like to pass.
So your typical St. Joe game, your 3-4 hour St. Joe game. Gotcha.
It's going to be a long game. People will get their money's worth, including the Bloodhound channel. A lot of commercials will be put on there. So it's going to be a long game. They're going to test our ability to defend the pass. Victoria St. Joe put us in a position, and the veterans, to stop the run. I think the last 2 quarters we stepped up to that challenge. So now we're going to be put in a position to defend the pass. So we'll see what they do. I mean, our offense, we're trying to figure ourselves out. We know we have a lot of weapons. Now, how do we want to package that to maximize every one of those weapons to the best of their ability? Because Lucas hasn't gotten the football.
Right.
DP hasn't gotten the football. And so we have to figure out a way to fire with all cylinders in one game. Not, well, this game is going to be Kiko, JP heavy,
right,
and Ethan heavy. They got to be heavy the whole way around. We've got to distribute the football with 4 receivers, running back, and quarterback. 6 guys have to be firing on all cylinders, and that is our puzzle to figure out if we're going to compete in this district.
How close do you feel you guys are as a staff to getting to that point? Because I think we've seen flashes, because, the first game against Lopez, Lucas had a big game, and then DP had a big game in special teams, and even Kiko had 2 touchdowns against Lopez, 2 touchdowns this past week. So how close do you feel are as a staff and putting the pieces are all there?
Yeah.
It's a matter of putting it together.
I think we'll put our best foot forward this Friday. I think we have a real good game plan. I think we're moving some pieces around. I hope it's going to give us the right formula that we like. But obviously our goal is to improve, and maybe this Friday will be, I hope, one of our most challenging offensive sets for someone to play.
You have San Antonio Christian Friday. Following week, you have Regents. How important is it for a young team to understand that Friday you play San Antonio Christian and what most people would call it a trap game for you guys, for the kids to understand that they have San Antonio Christian Friday and the Regents is next week, not to overlook San Antonio on Friday?
I mean, we have a thing at St. Joe. I mean, you put it on the Instagram. I think if the team buys into what we're trying to sell, which is, it doesn't matter ultimately who we're playing. It doesn't matter whether it's San Antonio Christian, Regents, Veterans. The color of uniform and the decal on the helmet should never matter. It's about St. Joseph Academy playing the best football that it can, making the least amount of mistakes, being relentless to a football, tackling, blocking, the basic essentials of football. I think if we can find that offensive formula and keep playing aggressive, relentless defense, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, honestly, who we're playing. That's just me. I don't care about their record. I don't care who they are. I don't care their height, weight, and size, or how many stars they have next to their name. At the end of the day, for me, it's about the guys I coach, and I can worry about them and their mental state. And I think right now we've learned and grown in every game some way. And so hopefully we continue to do that, because we're going to need that Friday. And we're going to need that moving forward in this district all the way into hopefully what turns into a playoff run.
When you guys jumped into the film room Saturday, what were some things that you guys felt that you needed to clean up?
Well, first and foremost is our tackling, right? You've got to wrap up legs if you have a powerful runner like that. Second is getting multiple hats to a ball. You know, you can't assume that 1 or 2 guys are going to make the play. We've got 11 guys on defense, and so we worked a lot of pursuit this week. We worked a lot of tackling drills this week. Those were 2 major points that we had to make sure that we emphasized watching that in the film room on Saturday. And offensively was making easy reads and taking what they give us instead of forcing what we want. And we do that. It doesn't matter who's receiving the football. At that point, you take names and numbers away, and you let the offense kind of work itself out, and that's how we're able to fire on all cylinders, whether it's JP, Ethan, or any of our receivers, because we've got 5 rolling in there right now, and I'll take all 5 of them, you know, at any moment in the game. So even Andre had 2 big third-down conversions, right? And so at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter who it is. It's let the system play itself out, take what they give us, don't force what you think you want.
Perfect, Coach. We're going to be with you guys on Friday. And I know the channel is just continuing to pick up steam. Yesterday, I was able to go on the road with the team. They got a sweep up at St. Mary's Hall in San Antonio. So just talk about where we're at with all that and how we're getting ready for Friday as far as the channel and getting just the excitement in the community.
Yeah, I mean, slowly but surely we're looking for this channel to grow. And in order for it to grow, we need to have sponsors. And if you're a Bloodhound member, if you're a Bloodhound fan, if you watch Real Sports, you're a fan of Real Sports. I think the most important thing is for you to show your support to Valley athletes and to Valley athletes by supporting with your business. It's not a donation. It's marketing dollars. And if you look back at the Real Sports platform, if you look at the amount of people that watch shows like this in every game, it's in the thousands, right? And if I was a business owner, I'd love to market my business and show support to thousands of viewers. So as that continues to grow at St. Joseph Academy, you're starting to work with students at working the film, working the camera, hopefully at some point doing this, right? Creating a show on St. Joe, teaching people how to interview, ask questions. There's so much opportunity with the show, but Friday, what we definitely can expect is the fact that I just talked to Joe Bowling, who's here, and got approved in all the countries in Roku. Get Amazon to hopefully follow tomorrow. He's expecting to receive an email tomorrow. So if you have Roku, you can log in right now. You can go into your Roku, look at RSL, Real Sports Live, click on that, and the channels are up live and they're rolling right now. This is the future of football, and Joe's always seen it, and now it's starting to come to fruition. Now we need our community to support it. We need the community to get behind it. And Bloodhound community, we need you to get behind it. We've always believed in it. We've always wanted to be one of the first to experience it, but we can't experience it to the maximum if we don't have supporters and people who are going to invest in this by becoming sponsors and becoming people who advertise with us. That's the most important thing. But we're ready. We're building you guys a nice stage. It's gonna look kind of like a game day like. We're working it, and we believe in it. We're excited about it, and hopefully we can get a lot more people to log in and view. And I just went my last piece, man. I could talk forever. You know that I'm a coach, but I went to a reunion in San Antonio, and I think the coolest thing about Real Sports and the coolest thing we have you guys. They can't see behind the camera, but we have all the Real Sports guys here, and I wanted you guys to know while we're live on air, is the coolest thing in the world is for me to go see alumni that don't live here, that are in Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and all those areas, and the fact that they know our athletes' names, they know their stats, they're fans, and they're able to follow us because of this platform. So Joe and staff and all you guys, Kevin, thank you so much for that. There's nothing greater than being able to sell 2,700 tickets to a Brownsville Veterans game, but knowing that another 2,700 people were watching it because of Real Sports Live. And that's the power of this platform. So we're excited for Friday.
We are too. 6:30 kickoff.
6:30 p.m.
Yes, sir. So we will see you guys Friday. Thanks to Tino Villarreal for joining us. When we come back, Joe's going to join us, and then we'll wrap it up here from Brownsville.
Thank you.
We are the Harlingen Lady Cardinals, and you are watching Real Sports Live. Yeah!
Hi, I'm Rebecca Castillo. I invite you to visit San Benito and see for yourself the many things this community has to offer. Our offices of economic development offer a variety of business resources to developers, investors, and business owners from small to large scale. Contact us and let us work together on your next business opportunity.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
We are the Red Lady Raiders, and you're watching Real Sports Live. Yeah!
All right, welcome back to Luke Faria Motors. Kevin, that's Joe. As promised, we had Mike Gonzales, Israel Gonzalez, and Tino Villarreal join us here on the show today. So the first time we have three coaches on in one day. So excited to have all three of them.
Always exciting when coaches take part of one of our shows. These coaches shows are important to getting the word out. We always call it the story behind the games. Every game has a ton of stories. Can you tell them before the game? Can you tell them after the story? And that's what these shows are about. And when the coaches participate, makes life a lot easier. But hey, three perspectives on the football season from three different views of those coaches. One, your Donna coach looking at a 5-0 season, and everyone's for the first couple of weeks are saying, well, is it real? Is it real? Is it real? 3 weeks in, is it real? 4 weeks in, well, how good are you? 5 weeks in, it's like, hey, they're still here, and now they're going to throw themselves up against a Brownsville Veterans team. And so, you look at that perspective from a coach, no longer saying, hey, it's real, it's changed. The attitude, everything's changed about what's happening at Donna, and excitement with the talent level that's around. You think Israel Gonzalez, Harlingen South last year had that very same feeling. Couple of games in, it was like, well, are they really that good? And then it just kept going and going. The difference in the two when you line them up is that Donna's got youth.
Mm-hmm.
Israel had all that senior leadership and part of it, but still, Harlingen South is now in the position of saying, last year was a great run. This year is a good team. We're building on a program now and trying to get more guys to come out on a consistent basis and join the ranks to create the environment which was last year every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you got Tino Villarreal, who is, the one that's always singing to his team, you play my style, you believe in what we're going to coach you, we'll put you in a position to win games. At times the ball bounces your way, but if you're not in a position to have that ball bouncing your way, then it doesn't matter. And that's all he preaches is stick with what we're asking you to do, play the game, get ready, and good things will happen. So, 3 coaches, 3 perspectives, but it makes for an exciting, what in other words would be called a bye week.
Right.
Pretty exciting week for football.
Yeah, week 6 already here, and technically it is the bye week for more than half the schools. But St. Joe, they have their second district game. Donna, Harlingen South, they're in district play. So there's still a lot of big football games to be played. We don't have anything tomorrow. That's not normal.
Yeah, I looked up and down the schedule trying to find is something going on. We've got no varsity football that I can find across the coastal bend down into here because of the way the bye week lines up. And again, the trio of Donna, Brownsville Veterans, and Harlingen South, Kevin, is that this is the first of what could be 3 potential big games in that district.
Yes.
Harlingen South being involved in the other 2,
Right.
and it's like just how good is this? Is this district? We're going to find out tonight. How good is Brownsville Veterans? I've been saying it since week 1. You've been chiming in the same way. They don't turn the ball over against San Benito. You're probably looking at an undefeated Brownsville Veterans team right now. They did turn the ball over. Greyhounds found a way to win that game. But that Brownsville Veterans team has used that to get better and better and better. And they went on the field against a Port Isabel team that is clicking. That was clicking on all cylinders going into that game, had every reason to believe that they were going to be able to compete. And the physicality, the execution, they didn't turn the ball over. Brownsville Veterans, I don't know how good they are. I don't think they've hit their ceiling. So we're going to get a good look tomorrow night, another good look at Brownsville Veterans and potentially how good is this district.
Do you want to sprinkle in some fun is potentially down the road, PSJ North, Brownsville Veterans, round 3.
Yep.
Potentially.
Yep. And
so just back of your head.
Yep. And you look at, styles, and you saw what PSJ North, they were able to go out there and outslug, literally outslug an Edinburgh Vela team. But you're looking at a Brownsville Veterans team that is a total different complexion as far as it's not going to be a spread offense. It's not going to be slinging the ball. It's going to be, hey, look in a mirror. What you're doing right, so do we.
Yeah.
What you're practicing against, so do we. And so if that does match up, man, oh, man, it's going to be an hour and 20-minute game.
Yeah.
But it will be just a outright old-school football. How hard can you hit? How hard can you get hit? Hang on to the football at all costs. And if that happens, we'll sprinkle in right now. That's what we're all about in the media. Hype. Let's hype that one.
Yeah.
That could be a great matchup.
Somewhere down the road. And the crazy thing is that I've had coaches tell me about Brownsville Veterans specifically is they say, man, they run a handful of plays, but they do it so well. And we know this play is coming, and it doesn't matter. We still can't figure out a way to stop it.
Yeah,
I think that gets scary.
The only blemish was they turned it over early and often against San Benito. Had some turnovers against St. Joe even. Had some turnovers they had to work on. But as I said during those 2 broadcasts, these are things that a coach can work on in practices. You can run players to death. We fumble the football, we're going to run. We're going to work that out of you, and you can work on that. You can execute. And if they don't turn the ball over, they are a scary good football team. I'm excited to see, can Donna give their quarterback time, give the receivers time to run some pass patterns, to open some things up and put Brownsville Veterans. We saw St. Joe execute some pass plays and just miss on some big ones. If Donna gives their quarterback time to make some passes down the field, stretch the field, man, that could be just a great game as well. Friday night shaping up.
It's going to be at Veterans, too, on campus. So switching gears, Joe, the big news, of course, with Roku and Amazon Prime. What's the scoop?
Well, it's no secret. I've been hiding out in my living room for the past 3 weeks trying to fine-tune everything that's going on with our distribution of our network. Real Sports Live was created first and foremost to be a broadcast platform, not a streaming service. We turned into a streaming service thanks to COVID. We are going back into the mode of building a broadcast network, and so the Real Sports Live network was approved by, we got general approval a couple of weeks ago from Roku. They put us on where you could go to the channel and load the Real Sports Live channel. They were still tweaking some things, and we still had to wait for the final approval across the board. And 10 minutes before we went on the air, I got the email, the final official email, that worldwide Roku is going to distribute Real Sports Live. So if you have a Roku device of any kind, a Roku channel availability, look for the streaming channels, load the Roku, and you'll be able to get Real Sports Live. And the neat thing about it is that on my TV, I did a test on the search looking for Real Sports Live. RI gets it. We're the first search that comes up after you enter the letters RI. So it's pretty quick, pretty easy to get to us. Amazon Prime, we worked on that last week. We got the initial approval this week that should be in place as well. Again, it's going to be the same format in that you'll click on it, much like a Netflix. You'll click on the initial page will come up. There will be all of the live channels, and in this case we're starting with 5, including a channel guide, which is important. We want people to know what's coming on these channels, not just click on and wait for something to come on. You want to get an idea. So there's a South Padre Island channel guide, which has all of our live channels at the bottom, and it's scrolling. And it's scrolling constantly, much like when you turn on a TV at a motel and you look at the channel guide. That's what we have in place with the Real Sports Live network within the channel. You click on that and you'll see the guide. But within that are the live channels. And right now the live channels are the premium channel, which has what I call the best of. And man, I've loaded some best of games in the last couple of days, going back to 2017, 2018, some really big, significant games that were played here that were broadcast on Real Sports Live. We have an RGV channel, which again has some big games. As far as across the board, I'm trying to keep premium at football and volleyball right now, the in-season games, and then using the RGV channel to sprinkle in some of the softball and some of the baseball. I went back to the Rio Hondo softball series in 2018, which they made some runs, and I've loaded some of their games. So that's on the RGV channel. The Coastal Bend channel. Now, again, we really hit it hard in the Coastal Bend area the year after COVID. But we were there before, my friends. We've got games against Ray, against CC Veterans, against CC Miller, against some RGV teams. Remember, they were rotating out of here, out of the playoffs, into that area. And so we had broadcasts of teams from the Coastal Bend back then, the London-Santa Rosa matchups. I loaded 2 games over the past couple of, the 2017 and 18 runs made by Santa Rosa had to go through London. And so those games are on. So there's a Coastal Bend channel that has, the best of the broadcasts going on Real Sports Live and the Coastal Bend, and then, of course, the channel guide. But going back to the 3 primary channels, the premium, Coastal Bend, RGV, and I haven't touched the Bloodhound channel because Tino did a pretty good job of hitting on that. But on those 3 channels are not only games that were played before, but that's where the live games are going to be going. And your guide will tell you what game is coming up there. And so it's no longer search for it on Facebook, search for it on YouTube. I can't find the game. I can't find the link. Restream didn't put it on Facebook, but they did put it on YouTube. It'll be go to the channel, watch the guide. Amazon Prime, Roku, and it's also going to be on our website. We are going to cater to the fans that are traditionally using the handheld social media, and so the players will all be on the website. Again, same thing. Look for the games on the channel guide and then go on to there. But more importantly is the content around the games. Pre-recorded games, live games, but the studio stuff that's coming. Shows like this, a show that breaks down games at a higher level, shows that break down previous weeks played, shows that break down seasons. All of that stuff is now a reality that we can produce that kind of stuff on a television platform. And that's what it's all been about since I thought about it 20 years ago. 10 years ago, I started to put it into play. 5 years ago, Real Sports Live really set off to building what was approved 10 minutes before this broadcast began. So cool stuff.
Good
and the
stuff.
Bloodhound channel, again, like
Yeah.
Tino said, loaded with St. Joe, 24/7.
All right. So Friday we'll be at St. Joe. We're excited to be there, and if allowed, if it's ready, we're ready to go full blown pregame.
Yep.
Etc.
We will go
post
the whole
game
9 yards on as close to a television broadcast that we've put together yet on Real Sports Live. With the pregame interviews, the introduction of the players, the starting lineups, multiple cameras, huddle cameras, all of the stuff that traditionally you see on a television broadcast. I think I've used the words so much it's just drummed into my normal conversation, and that is, I've been doing a lot of this stuff that's television with one hand tied behind my back, and sometimes two. We now have people around me like yourself, like Ruben, like Rudy, who are coming along and understanding more of the television production to where we can start saying, hey, let's open it up. Let's show this, let's show this, let's show this. And yeah, the St. Joe game this week very well could be the first one in which we really start showing what we've got. You know it. I know it. We know how many cameras we've got. We know how many wireless cameras we can use, how many wireless mics we have. The fans don't necessarily know it because they're used to seeing the streaming version of Real Sports Live, and that is just get as many games on as you can because the schools needed it. Well, we're going back to the broadcast side of Real Sports Live. Game changer.
Let's do it. Friday, 6:30. Joe and I will be there. We got plenty of other games coming to you Friday night and some volleyball on Saturday. So that wraps it up. Here from Luke Faria, Rudy, Ruben, Kevin. That's Joe. Thanks again to Donna head coach Mike Gonzalez, Harlingen South Izzy Gonzalez, and Tino Villarreal for joining us. So we'll see you guys at the games.